Pinfalls is back. We're back, Tommy. Pinfalls is back. Yes.
We're
We had a little
back.
bit of a layoff. I'm your host, John of johnsbeat.com. And joining me as always, who else? Tommy else. We're back, Tommy.
We're back. It's 2024. It's good to be back. We're going to get a fresh start on this year. Before we go forward with this year, though, I think it's our duty to report on the final stats
I've got it right here. Got it right here.
2023. As you know, we tally all of these up, and at the end of the year, there can only be one winner.
And that winner was Tommy.
Right here. Right here. That's right.
Last year, Tommy went 30-8. I went 25-13.
It's embarrassing.
Still pretty good at 66%. Overall, Tommy, now over the 3-year period that we've done this, Tommy now leads me. He has 80 victories. He's 80-53, and I am 77-56. I'm just that close behind him. We have a sparkling, I believe it's 59% winning percentage.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
That's pretty good. Now I did throw, and you agreed to it. I did throw it out. I'm not sure if we should do this bet for this because there's only, 2 real matches to predict. I originally said anybody that could beat us would get a free shirt. I think we should wait until we have a full card.
Yeah, the Rumble is just an anomaly that has only a couple of just regular matches outside of the Rumble matches. So we can throw it out there now for the next pay-per-view, whatever it is, Elimination Chamber. I think that might be the next one. Yeah, if you can you got to do better than both of us.
Got to be both.
Yeah. So if I get 6 out of 8, then you got to get 7 out of 8.
Yeah.
John, you don't have to worry about it. He'll get like 3, so you'll beat him, no problem. But you got to beat me for sure. So.
And you only get the T-shirt. We're not popping open the wallet for the hoodie. You can pay the difference though if you really want the hoodie.
There it is. All right, John, what do we got?
Well, we're going to dive right in. First, we're going to go with the 2 matches, not the Rumbles. So the first one we have is for the U.S. title. It's Logan Paul versus champion Logan Paul defending against Kevin Owens, one of your former our pro mates.
Yeah, he passed through our pro in the early days for about 3 shows, I think. I going with Logan Paul on this. I think they're going to want to have him take that title into WrestleMania, but most definitely going to want to have him in a match at WrestleMania. And if he goes in there as the United States champion, it's more compelling. Kevin Owens doesn't need the United States championship right now, and maybe this is the beginning of a longer feud with them, but I don't see him walking out of the Rumble as the new U.S. title, newest U.S. champion, I should say.
I agree completely. It's funny. I was talking to a friend of mine, and I do have friends, and he says, well, Logan Paul, he's just a part-timer. He's not going to keep the title. I go, ever hear of Roman Reigns?
Right. Yeah. It's
that
not
your biggest
about
defense. Come on.
Well, and the thing is that Logan Paul, part-timer or not, has had nothing but stellar matches.
Yes.
In every one of his outings. I mean, like, it's rare that you see someone come in and just absolutely kill it in every one of their matches, and right. He has, as much as we all are not fans of him personally, you can't take anything away from him. I mean, to do what you have to do in that ring takes a lot of talent and a lot of conditioning. You have to be a real athlete. And he is, man. I mean, there's just no getting around it. So, there's too much money to be made on having him as part of WrestleMania, and an even bigger deal if he's the U.S. champ. So, just based on that alone,
there's no real gain for him losing the title. Like you said, Owens doesn't need it, other than just for the sake of having a title change. There's no real benefit to having him lose to Owens right now.
No, if they were going to somehow push him towards one of the heavyweight championships, which they're not, that would be the only reason to take that title off of him. So
we agree.
All right.
The The next match is the Fatal Four. I don't know if it's a Fatal Four Way. It's a four-way. Champ Roman Reigns, the Universal Champ, versus LA Knight versus Randy Orton versus AJ Styles.
So this is a little trickier than you might think, because at this point, every Roman Reigns match is always just like, well, Reigns is going to win. Well, Reigns is going to win. Well, now we're heading into WrestleMania, and the bloodline has been just dwindling for a long time. I mean, it's just he's barely on TV. The relationships within the bloodline aren't very strong. Solo is the best thing they really have going in the bloodline right now. And so I see a couple possibilities here. You could just have Reigns win the title,
Keep the title.
or retain the title and carry on, and have to take it all the way to WrestleMania. The X factor in this whole thing, though, is The Rock. Okay. Now, if they're talking about a Rock versus Reigns match, that doesn't necessarily mean that he has to have the title to have that match for the storyline that would be behind it. There's no reason for the title to be involved, because if The Rock wins, then what? Now he's the Universal Champion.
But don't you think if they're not fighting for the title, what are they fighting for? If Roman Reigns
this is a family,
now,
it's a family affair.
but if Roman Reigns loses now, is the bloodline going to stay together and he's still going to be in charge? Like, what is he in charge of? He's in charge of nothing.
Well, here's what I think. If you do The Rock versus Reigns, no title, it's for family supremacy. The Rock then claims the seat as the head of the table. Roman Reigns will probably just go away for a while, and the bloodline will just split up. Solo can go on his own. Jimmy can go on his own. Heyman can find somebody. They don't need to be together anymore. So, and
So
I really
Solo goes solo.
yes,
I'm back.
yeah, yeah, I know. But so here's another thing is, let's say that he does lose the title in the Fatal Four Way. I see if he was to lose the title, it's going to be like Orton pins LA Knight or something like that. So then Reigns can get out of this without technically having lost the match, and also gives him that excuse, to always fall back on, I never lost that title. Someone was asking me if they thought that the Fatal Four Way would be the main event or the Men's Rumble would be the main event. And that's an interesting question. Now, typically, the Rumble is the main event. They like to close out the show with that person who wins pointing at the sign, fireworks, and fade to black. If for some reason they do the Rumble before the Fatal Four Way, I'd say the odds of him dropping the title are very high, because it's the only reason they would put that ahead of it at the end of it, because that'll be a huge deal, him losing the title. That's going to be bigger than who wins the Men's Rumble. If that match comes on before the Rumble, he's keeping the title. There's no way, because there's no way they're going to he's not going to lose the title after all this time and be like, all right, well, let's go on to the next match, even for the Rumble.
We're recording this on Friday, so there could be another match added. Right now, there's just the two matches plus the two Rumbles. So if the four-way goes last, then the Men's Rumble would go before that, and then you have to open with the Women's Rumble, because you're not going to have back-to-back Rumbles, I don't think.
No, I'm almost certain they'll start with the Women's Rumble, but even if they don't, if they open with the Men's Rumble, they're not going to close with the Women's Rumble.
No.
So that could be a tell right there, but I got to take a stance on this, though, and make a prediction. So I am going to say that I think I'm going to go with Reigns dropping the title, because the Fatal Four Way is the easiest way to get him out of this, without being beaten by any single person.
Okay. So who wins it?
Yeah, that's true. I picked the loser, but out of the three, Randy Orton for sure.
Now,
Randy Orton.
could I'm not sure what the rule is on this. Could he win? Could Roman Reigns? Could there be a disqualification? Could the whole thing be a schmaz and he retains the title, but he doesn't necessarily win the match?
I believe in fatal four-way rules, there's no DQ.
Okay,
So I don't think
but there
that
could
he'll
be
ever.
some weird outside interference, which helps him
Well,
win.
you got to assume that Solo and Jimmy are going to come out there and be part of this whole thing, you
Well,
know?
I would say Reigns retains. He wins the match and he retains.
Okay. I mean, it's a very plausible thing. It's
Well,
I'm
as
not
is
like,
yours. This one could go 50-50.
yeah, it really could, but I mean, I just think that if you're looking for a way to transition him off of the title, but put him in a position to be able to fight The Rock, at WrestleMania, the Fatal Four Way is the way to go. You do it at the Rumble. Now you got the next couple of months to build that whole thing up, So,
True. I can't argue.
but like I said, look for the match order, and that could be telling before we even get to the actual match. So,
By your logic or by our logic, then if the women's Royal Rumble starts the show, there's probably a good chance that Roman Reigns will lose the title.
well, not necessarily. It depends, because they could still do, just because it doesn't matter which Rumble starts off. It's a matter of do they end with a Rumble.
Well, I think the men's. I think they would go. I think they would go. Logan Paul, the U.S. title match, women's Rumble. I think the only question is which one goes third and fourth.
I think they'll start with a Rumble. They'll start with the women's Rumble or
Really?
the men.
Okay.
Yeah, they usually do.
All right.
They take the singles matches and usually sandwich it between the Rumbles.
Okay.
That's why I'm saying, like if you only have a couple of, regular matches, if they do, put that match, if they put that match ahead of the men's or women's Rumble, whatever they decide to close out with, which I would think they would do the men's, but who knows? Um, if it comes ahead of time, I don't. Then he's keeping the title. They're
All
not.
right.
Yeah.
Let's move on to the women's Rumble then. I'm
I'm
not
going
going to list
Becky.
all the participants.
No, I'm going Becky Lynch, 100%,
Whoa, the
all in,
man.
all in, and I'll tell you why. The second that I heard them use the marquee of mommy versus the man, that was that. I was like, because if she wins the Rumble, now you go into WrestleMania, mommy versus the man. That's all you had to say to me. That she's the one who's going to go into WrestleMania. So she's going to win the Women's Rumble.
And she does have a book coming out. The man.
Yes,
Yeah,
I didn't quite factor that into my decision, but yes, that's true.
but oddly, I did factor. Well, no, I mean I thought about it, but that didn't come into my decision. I'm going Bailey. I'm going Bailey, and she's riding the San Francisco 49ers wave because she's a big San Francisco 49ers fan. I don't know if you do that. Little piece of trivia there. I see I'm well rounded.
Yeah, I know,
And then I think you got the Bailey versus mommy.
I wouldn't. I would put her indefinitely. She'll be in the final four. I believe that. I don't think she'll win it, but if Becky Lynch wasn't the factor that I feel like she is, Bailey would be a top contender.
Well,
So
I went with Becky Lynch as my second choice, so I think
okay,
she also will be final four.
all right. So
Any
we got,
surprise entrants, or will there be an Erica St. Vaughn?
we hope every year that I'll somehow make it out there, but
You mean Erica will?
Erica, yeah, I I haven't heard any specific rumors. I heard someone say they thought The Rock was going to go and win the Rumble, and then that's how he was going to get to Reigns or something. But I just, like I said,
Rock doesn't need to win the Rumble to get the
he doesn't
ring.
need to win the Rumble to get to Reigns. He doesn't need the title. He doesn't need any of that stuff. What they need to do is get the title off of Reigns. It's like Rock versus Hogan wasn't for a title.
That's true.
So it's like you can have those major, it doesn't have to be a retirement match. It doesn't have to have a title on the line for it to be a very big deal, high profile match. So, yeah, But yeah, I'm definitely going with Becky Lynch. And I don't know about, honestly, I don't want to know. I don't want to hear rumors or anything. I love just watching the Rumble and just jumping out of my seat, because Eugene shows up or Santina or something like that. If Santina Morella showed up in the Women's Rumble, that would be great.
Well,
So
I think Trish is an obvious choice. I'm not basing this on rumors I've heard. I'm just throwing it out because she's always around. She could easily come back.
she could. So yeah, so we'll see. It's I do love the Rumble. It's I'd say it's probably my favorite pay-per-view next to Mania. And maybe even more so in some ways. I like the anticipation. I like the mystery of who might show up, and it's a night where you just see stuff that you don't normally see. So at
I
other
agree.
pay-per-views. So
All right, let's go to the men's Royal Rumble then.
I am going in all in, so to speak, on CM Punk. I think Punk versus Rollins is your main event at WrestleMania right there. Um, there's the bad blood. There's Rollins keeps saying how he wants to go in. One thing he's never done was go into WrestleMania as the heavyweight champion, and he wants to do that. Punk has never gotten to be in the main event at WrestleMania. Now throw on top of that all the bad blood between the two of them, and think about how pissed that Rollins will be that Punk just shows up in the company, wins the Rumble, and goes straight to the main event at WrestleMania. All of this writes itself. So based on that, I give it to Punk. Plus, they've been pushing this whole like Punk versus Cody Rhodes. Basically, like which of these two do you think is going to win? So it's like they're almost telling you that like one of these two are going to win. Now, here's my biggest fear though. Even if Punk wins somehow, or whatever, and he's going to the main event, I worry about them turning it into like a triple threat.
Yeah,
And like
yeah,
throwing Cody in there too or something, because then that ruins it. This
right.
needs to be a one-on-one feud between those two guys. Cody finishing his story, which I'm so sick of hearing about at this point. They like just find something else for him to do. No, he's not, if let's say Orton wins the Fatal 4-Way and does get the Universal title, I mean, granted he's on SmackDown, but they might be able to work,
Well, that doesn't matter.
Rhodes versus Orton or something like that. They've got history. They were in Legacy together. Orton was like a mentor to him. Orton doesn't really need to hang on to the title long, So,
Right.
so who knows where that could go? But yeah, I mean, it'll probably come down to Rhodes and Punk as like the last two guys in the Rumble. But yeah, and it'll be interesting because that's like Rhodes, or I'm sorry, Punk versus Rollins will be one of those real polarizing matches for the crowd at Mania, because a lot of people love Punk and a lot of people love Seth, and in this scenario, it's like they're both faces, but Punk's more of the heel of the two in this,
Right.
because he's kind of got more of an attitude about him. And
And he left, he came back.
right,
It's that whole edge to it. No
yeah.
pun intended.
So yeah, so no, I'm definitely going all in on Punk. What do you got?
Well, once again, we agree. And even on the final two, I think it does come down to Punk and Rhodes. I don't know what you do with Rhodes. Like, it's almost like his time, like they missed the opportunity with him to finish the story.
Oh,
They were so hopped up on him for this big story arc. And now it's kind of like, all right, it's 2 years. Now you got other
that's why I'm
people.
sick of hearing it. It's like you build up a story like that, and you just keep writing it, and now other people are saying, well, I have my own story to finish and everything. I'm like, would everybody just quit using this term? Like, just
Finish the
get
damn
over it.
stories.
Yeah, somebody finish their story so I don't have to hear it anymore. And then what? I mean, what happens when he finishes his story, when he wins the title? Then what?
Starts a new
Well,
one.
he's got to write. Yeah, he's working on his next book. Yeah, I don't know.
Wait, he's
Uh,
working on a book?
no, I meant like for a story.
Oh, it'll come out though. The
Yeah,
WWE version of his autobiography will come out.
yeah,
I know you're not picking a surprise entrance because you like to be surprised. Again, I have not heard rumors. This is just my little brain working. I'm going Matt Cardona.
yeah. You think so?
Well, Chelsea's in there. You know,
Yeah. Everyone would be happy to see him.
yeah,
Um,
not doing much in AEW, or he wasn't doing much in AEW. People
no,
are defecting on occasion.
yeah, AEW's not doing so hot these days. So
No, they got their own mess going. So I'm calling, yeah. So I'm calling the final two is Cody Rhodes and Punk. And Punk goes to WrestleMania, and Cardona somehow comes into it. I don't think he'll be in the final four. In
no,
terms of old guys coming in, I don't know. I don't. It could be anybody. They could bring in Duggan for all I know.
yeah, we'll see.
Who's in Philadelphia? You could have the Blue Meanie come in.
Yeah, I was gonna say I would look to like some ECW guys if you're looking at like Philly, because the crowd will pop bigger for some of them. Yeah,
So who's
but
it? You got Blue Meanie, you got who's out in Philadelphia?
maybe our good buddy Mike Bucci will be out there. Maybe Simon Dean will come out, or he'll come
Oh,
out
it'd be
as
cool if he came out of that
or
Segway.
yeah, that would be incredible. If that guy, I would lose my mind if he not Nova, but he came out as Simon Dean in the purple jumpsuit on the Segway. The counter goes down and then he comes rolling down there. Oh man, I would come unglued. I would absolutely lose it. That would be great.
And then you bring them all out. You have him, then you have Blue Meanie come out.
Yeah, Stevie Richards.
I don't know
Yeah,
if Stevie Richards is healthy enough now. He had some issues, and I know he's recovering. I don't know if he's back yet.
yeah. I don't know, but
Yeah, I
it
would,
would
I would,
be
I would pop if Bucci. Either way, if Bucci comes out, but if he comes out as Simon Dean on the Segway,
that
that
would
uh,
be incredible. Yes, yes.
all
Well,
right.
there it
So
is.
we agree on the men's Royal Rumble. We agree on Logan Paul. We disagree on the other two.
So yeah. So it's two against two. So we'll see. We
We
could
will
we
see.
could we could tie it up, or one
I'll
of
be
us
happy
could
with
be.
the tie because this is such a crapshoot with everything.
It
But I like
is.
it. It's like it's
Well,
predictable.
it's better than it being super predictable like a lot of these have been
Right.
lately. I mean, like some of them are it's just very obvious. I mean, now granted, I mean, I feel like some of the like, to me, Punk seems like the obvious choice now that
Yeah.
doesn't
But you've said
WWE
too, sometimes the obvious is the way to go. Cody
right,
Rhodes, for instance, the obvious was for him to do it a year ago instead of dragging it out forever.
right. So we'll see.
Any last words?
Um, are you declining once again to come to
I
my
will be at
pay-per-view?
Village Inn, a block from my
Oh, that's
humble
right. You
abode.
did tell me this. Yeah. Yeah.
Second Wrestling.
I just want to be on record, because every time we have one of these, I publicly invite you to come by. I don't know that you ever have
Yeah,
once come over for.
I did come by for one.
All right, so you've been for one pay-per-view out of the last, I don't know, how many years. So
Well, you
just
haven't invited me every time for 10 years. You've invited me a bunch of times.
no,
Three.
I said it's but several years though. There's
Yeah.
been several years
Yeah.
of invites that have gone unanswered and declined.
Well, this one, it's again, there's a Second Wrestling is having a big event at Village Inn, my home away from home. I helped with it. I'm going to be there. Mr. Kate will be
So
there. A couple
can
other
you
wrestlers.
can you go into your calendar and pick one of the two WrestleMania nights and commit to that? You got a Saturday and a Sunday.
I can't, and I'll tell you why.
Oh boy, here we go.
No, you already know why. I will be in Philadelphia.
Oh, that's right. You did tell me that because I said you should go to Mania. Yeah.
I will be in Philadelphia or New York, depending on what we're doing, which night. For Global Travelers, having the wine survey, Wines on the Wing, very well known event. You're invited.
Yeah, I'll be hosting WrestleMania. So
All right. Well, no, the Wines on the Wing is Tuesday, so you can host WrestleMania, hop on a flight, and you know.
well, you just get me that airplane ticket and I'll
Again,
be
I
there.
got it.
So all right.
Right.
Well,
With
there it
that being
is.
said, everyone enjoy Royal Rumble 2024. Cheer for my picks if you want to go 4-0. Cheer for Tommy's if you want to go 2-2. With that, my co-host, who else but Tommy Else? And I'm John of JohnJustBeat.com. Thanks for listening or watching.